Founded in 1977, Between the Lines publishes books that support social change and justice. BTL has no boss. We are cooperatively run by our staff and a small band of volunteers who share a tenacious belief in books, authors, and ideas that break new ground. We have published the work of Charlie Angus, Noam Chomsky, Karen Messing, Gabrielle Nadeau-Dubois, Martine Delvaux, and Sylvia Federici. Between the Lines presents The Vimy Trap, or How We Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Great War, written by Jamie Swift and Ian Mckay, and narrated by John Lane. This book has been shortlisted for the 2017 Shaughnessy Cohen Prize for Political Writing and the 2017 Sir John A. Macdonald Prize.
Prologue: The Dead on the Field. In the fall of 1914, Tom Thompson was standing at the corner of Yonge and Bloor Streets in Toronto. He was watching a parade of recruits march by, 8 abreast, thousands of them. He saw young men, many recent immigrants from Britain, caught up in war fever. What would become the Great War had just begun, and the newly minted soldiers would soon be off to their homeland, taking part in the defense of its empire. The war would, according to the word on the street, be over by Christmas. 6 months, hell, 3 or 4 years it must be, muttered Thompson to his companions, Maud and Fred Varley, themselves immigrants who had arrived not long before from the mother country. Gun fodder for a day. Their friends and fellow artists, Lauren Harris and A.Y. Jackson, would head off to the recruiting office and join up, but Varley passed on the opportunity for glory. He even claimed, years later, that it was pressure to enlist during the conscription crisis of 1917 that prompted Thompson, perhaps the most famous landscape painter of them all, to take his own life that year under mysterious circumstances. Note 1. Like other artists in his circle, Varley had been amply exposed to glorious, hero-ridden depictions of the South African War of 1899 to 1902 in English publications such as the Illustrated London News and The Sphere. And, in the end, he did get to the Western Front, though not as a combatant. He became an officer assigned to paint the war on behalf of Lord Beaverbrook's Canadian War Memorials Fund. Arriving in England in 1918, he renewed his acquaintance with Jackson, who was in London after being wounded at Maple Copse near Ypres in 1916. Jackson had traded his rifle for a sketch pad. The two Canadians spent evenings together at 3 Earls Court Road, where Varley studied the pencil sketches that Jackson had made under fire. Varley quickly noticed that his friend had changed. By this time, Jackson looked far older than his years. "I'm sure if he had to go through the fight any more, he would be broken," Varley wrote home in a letter. After one long discussion with Jackson, Varley said he suspected that the ordinary soldier was trapped in a game of life and death which was nothing but a huge bluff conceived by some wise guys with business interests. Note 2. Jackson's somber Great War canvas, A Copse Evening, is stark, its mutilated tree trunks and harsh landscape foreshadowing his post-war Canadian landscapes, First Snow Algoma and Algoma Rocks Autumn. The desolate battlefield scenes would find their echoes in Jackson's vision of the northern landscape of Ontario's boreal wilderness. This, in turn, would influence other members of what became the Group of Seven. Note 3. Jackson's view of the war was colored by both the artist's aesthetic sensibility and the ordinary soldier's experience. In a 1916 letter from the Somme to future group member J.E.H. MacDonald, he observed, "You feel at times so very insignificant. A private is nothing, unless he disobeys an order. Then there is a big fuss made over him, and he probably gets..."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?